Welcome to the Ones to Know. I'm Kelly, and today I'm here with Lesley Taylor. Thank you for being here.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
I've been wanting you to do this so long, so thank you for being here. Let's start with, what should we start with? I mean, that's what's fun. We work together, but also, like, I consider you a very close friend. Like, I know so much about you, so I feel like we could just, like, talk about all the things. If there's anything off limits, I need a signal. You're like, boop, boop, don't
That's
talk
the
about
thing about me. It's always all on the table.
No.
Anything goes.
No. So, we both came from the Pacific Northwest. And when did you move to Austin?
Okay, so I didn't come from Pacific Northwest. I actually came from
I'm
Florida.
a terrible friend.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm a Floridian.
Oh, she's all about the Gators.
I moved here from North Carolina, where I was going to college for a minute.
Okay.
And I ended up in Seattle after having landed in Austin in 2003. I went up to Seattle.
Oh, so you went from here to Seattle.
I was in Seattle for 2.5 years, and then I came back to Austin.
Oh, okay. Was it the weather?
It was. Well, I met a gentleman who was working at Microsoft. That's another story. And he was originally a Texan and wanted to move back to Texas. So I came back to Austin. And yeah, I mean, as a Florida girl growing up on the beach, you can only handle, Pacific Northwest weather for so long.
Yes. But you go there often.
I still go up there. My mother and father-in-law live there. I have godchildren that live there, a close friend group. So we're up there pretty much every summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the best time. I mean,
The
the
most
3 months
beautiful
out of the year, there's nowhere better.
The most beautiful summers I've ever lived through.
Yes. Are you going this year?
We will be, yeah.
Yeah? Oh.
Jet's been up there a handful of times recently because of his parents. But
yeah. They're getting to the age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they'd ever move here?
Well, they lived here, and then they moved up to the Pacific Northwest because the weather was more gentle. They liked it.
Interesting. They went in reverse.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Well, this weekend was exciting for you. You did Preservation Austin. I know there was a little bit of a side situation, but you had 400 people in your home.
Yeah,
So tell me about that.
There was roughly probably 300 to 400 people that came through our historical home.
It's amazing.
Jet was really smart. He booked himself a ticket to California that morning at 11 a.m.
He did? Oh, I didn't know that he wasn't here.
Yeah, he had to go to California for a job, and he was there for like the first hour of it, but I could tell he was like it was a little intense. So we have a historical home that we purchased in March of 2020, and I have been working to get a historical district designation for our street. So I've been coordinating that with Preservation Austin, and they reached out and wanted to have our house on the homes tour this year.
Awesome.
So I do what I always do, which is do too much. And I created 15 poster boards, storyboards about the history of our street and our home and the architect, and had them all printed out on foam core and had these mounted to the Arroyo walk up to our property. So I was working on that last week. We had contractors in the house, just getting it all dialed in and ready. And it was just so rewarding because so many people like oohed and awed, and we're so appreciative of sitting and reading board by board by board of the history.
There were so many people lined up just reading those.
I went to some of the homes on Saturday that were on the tour, and like people would have just like a little piece of paper on the dining room table, like stapled with a before and after picture or some information. I was like, and then I realized like I way overdid this, but people appreciated it.
Yes.
It's nice. So
yeah. I mean, your house is beautiful.
Thank you.
Can we call it mid-century modern?
It is
type of
true.
vibe?
Yes, it is true mid-century modern. It was designed in 1959. Part of the story of the storyboard, a little snippet of information that I included was, if you gave me money today to start from scratch and build a home, so much of our home as is, I would reconstruct and build. Like, it is timeless design, and it's my most favorite home I've ever lived in.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's timeless, classic, mid-century modern. I was thinking this past weekend about why I am so interested in some of this architecture. And obviously, I'm married to Jet Butler, who has a degree in architecture and very into architecture. But My aunt, my dad's older sister, she had a Frank Lloyd Wright designed home in
Really?
Bethesda, Maryland that we spent our summers in
Oh, wow.
as a kid growing up. And I remember I was young at the time, but I was like, why is this home so cool? I remember having this like feeling about my aunt's home compared to like our little Jacksonville, Florida home, and just how different her home felt and how special it was. Yeah, a little story about it. A synagogue now lives in its place. That home got demolished because the original owner who commissioned Frank Lloyd Wright to design it, I don't know if you know any history about Frank Lloyd Wright, but his contracts were such that if you didn't build it to his specifications, if any material was used that he didn't sign off on, or if he didn't agree with the final build of the home, the owner had to demolish the home at their expense.
Really?
Yeah, he was really intense. So the story behind this particular home, it was on Kachina Lane, and it backed up to the Congressional Country Club. It was on the 14th fairway of the golf course. I have such vivid memories of this home. But yeah, the owner that built the home just disagreed with Wright's, contracts to like, you build it to my specs or you demolish it and pay for it. So he never signed the blueprint, the drawings. So a Wrightian-minded architect or builder ended up like working with them and building his design. But yeah, that was like my first foray into mid-century modern. And then of course I ended up marrying somebody who's like way into architecture. And Jet is somebody that when we travel the world and go places, he's like, oh, I have an appointment to go to this home. This like 80-year-old man has granted me permission to go into his home and tour his home. And I'm like, who are these people? Like every city we ever
And
go
how does he
to,
find them?
he's a Jet. He like researches and digs up and finds someone that, has some architectural pedigree, and he's touring people's private homes and,
amazing.
Munich and Paris. And, so through his lens, obviously I've been exposed to a lot of really amazing architecture. And so it's kind of my, forte in real estate. It's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, so true. I know historic homes have been close to your heart in general, but also mid-century. And so how do you feel like you best feature those types of homes when you're going to list one?
When I have the opportunity to list something that's architecturally significant, I just start with the history. Like, when was it designed? What was going on in the city or the world at that time? Why was this, design, important at that time? The topography of the land, just trying to figure out what was the architect trying to get across and do, and start from that story. Who lived in the home?
Yeah.
Who else has like been a steward of this home throughout the years and have like carried it forward into like the now?
Yeah.
So
I think the clients really appreciate that you do that. I mean, it's the details, because you'll do it all the way down to the food and the beverages that you're serving at the opens, the kind of, just bring the whole feeling and experience together. It's very awesome.
Yeah, I think that goes back to, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but obviously real estate is sales, right? But so much of it is service. It's service industry.
Sure.
And my previous history growing up was working in high-end restaurants and service industry, and being able to anticipate someone's need before they even knew what they needed.
Yeah.
And just being able to read people and understand, like, these people really want to enjoy themselves tonight and have a very slow-paced meal and spend 3 hours catching up and not rushing them through things, reading someone's wine glass measurements and knowing, they need to be topped off, or this person doesn't like having a full glass of wine. And I'm like that. Please don't fill my wine glass all the way. I like to have like, 1/3 of wine in the wine glass so I can swish it around and it can breathe.
Yeah.
But just being able to understand the vibe of people and how to properly service them, because everyone has a different agenda, right? And a different pace and way that they want to have an experience or experience something. And so much of real estate, I think, when I'm working with clients, is not selling them on something. It's servicing them, providing a service.
And curating an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're very good at that.
I try to be.
Yes. And then you have the design aspect because of your own, personal design experience, as well as Jet's. So how do you feel like you kind of meld all of that together?
meld design and servicing
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Because I'd say you're very, I mean, you sell all different types of products. I mean, you have experience selling, you know, high end luxury condos downtown to historic homes to, you know, all different types. But you create a story for every single type of property that you feature that is truly unique to you.
Sometimes it's really hard.
Fair.
Sometimes
That's
properties don't have a story at all, and you have to try to create something.
Okay.
A lifestyle. But
now we have ChatGPT.
which also can be so annoying, right? When some people lean on ChatGPT or AI to create some, like, you know, flowy story about something, and it's like, have you even walked this property? Like, none of what you're saying is actually accurate for this home. But anyway, I digress. You know, I've had a lot of feedback from clients who really appreciate when I walk through a home with them the things that I notice. I'm like, those baseboards aren't plumb. This is a little weird. Like, I immediately can pick up on design details. And if these are things that the layman that I consider myself to be can see, like, what's going on behind the walls. And I've had clients call me, we really want to go to this open house, but we don't want to walk it without you. We need you to be there to walk it with us.
That
because
says so much.
I see things that maybe some people don't. And I can appreciate the quality of something that is in a house that most people might be like, oh, I would immediately rip that out. Like, no, that's the best part of the home. Like, this is, you know, true and authentic and has been here for years, or there's something unique about a piece of an aspect of a home that should be preserved and kept.
Yeah.
So
you're good at that. And I feel like a lot of agents hesitate to make those type of comments or give that feedback, you know, in fear of, you know, maybe making the client not like the home as much. And you bring a special personality to it. I think you're very good at.
You know, my favorite thing, my favorite attribute and characteristic in people is, like, stand for something.
Yes.
Don't be, you know, wishy-washy or, you know, agreeable. Like, stand for something.
Yeah.
And so rightfully or wrongly, with clients, I give them my opinion and I tell them what I think about certain aspects of a home. And
if they're your people, they will.
They appreciate it. If not, like,
bye.
Yeah.
True.
So.
Okay. Well, laying over here, which we can't see, is your best friend.
My shadow.
Yes. Bismarck, who's amazing. And do you take him to listings and to appointments with you? No?
He's been on a few. I mean, if, like, a lot of times, obviously, clients are friends or neighbors, or if I'm meeting them somewhere and this guy's with me because I don't have children, he is my child, he will pop in. He doesn't fit in my purse like Bridget's dog, but sometimes he's just watching from the car with the windows down. But he accompanies me on occasion.
Well, he's been known to be featured in a few videos. Like when you strapped the camera to him and he went through the house. That was so cute.
I know. I should probably do that again.
Yes.
Biz. He's like, yes.
Okay, so what does 2026 feel like to you? Do you feel like the market has picked up a bit?
So as you know, I had a listing going to multiples last week, which is always fun.
Yes. Well, the location was killer.
Yes. But, you know, it was on the private market for a bit, and then we put it on the MLS, and I was getting a lot of showings and a lot of traffic. And, you know, it finally, like, there were 3 people circling, and then it was boom, boom, boom. They all submitted. So it's always obviously nice getting multiple offers, but if you're not doing it with every listing, it's like, wait, okay, let me organize all my thoughts.
Yeah. You're kind of out of practice from it, but it's happening all the time.
Yes.
But it's.
And I have a seller who is, you know, every type of seller that we deal with, every client we deal with is so very different in how they do their decision making. Sure. And this seller is, she's very thoughtful, and she's like, I want to sleep on this. I'm going to meditate. I'm not going to make a decision based on fear. I'm going to make a decision based on trust and positivity.
I love that. But us as agents, we're like, oh,
yeah,
time kills deals.
We had our, you know, best and final at 5 p.m. and I told everybody that we would have an answer by noon the next day. So I felt like it was reasonable. Yeah. She did want to sleep on it and call me in the morning. I even said, let's see if the light of day brings any new things.
Yeah.
We're under contract.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the world's a bit unpredictable right now, and so I feel like that has been reflected a little bit in the market. People have kind of stalled, and
yeah,
we're getting yo-yoed around a lot right now, but that is the business, and
Yeah.
that's the temperament that you have to have, that you're going to be up one day, you're going to be down the next. I mean, I remember before I got those 3 offers, I was like,
it's never going to sell.
wondering what I've done wrong. Did I tell the right story? Is my marketing great? And then, of course, the next day you start getting offers.
Yeah.
So it's from one minute to the next, and
That's the good and bad. We go off of that momentum, and so we're like, woo! When it's great, it's great, and when it's not, it's what did we do wrong? How do we do better?
And you just never know from one week to the next. And there's moments when I'm laying awake in bed at night, I'm like, I don't have the heart for this industry.
Even though you've been doing it for so many years.
You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. And,
Yeah.
you have to just try to stay the course and do your best. And, I always try to just be accountable. I try to, when I make a mistake, very rarely, but when it happens, own it, be direct, apologize, do right by your clients, be honest, and just stay the course. And I feel like if you're giving that out and you're doing that, people are going to remember it, and it kind of helps your business stay steady.
And that's why you've had so many repeat longtime clients.
I'm like, do I? Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
So do you prefer buyers or sellers?
I most enjoy working with people and pairing them with a property that is the right property for them and that they love. Like when it's a good fit and I've created a perfect match, I love that, whether it's on the buy side or the sell side.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love listings. I love telling a story. I love creating marketing. I, came into this industry from the marketing side. So that's kind of what I enjoy. But I also, I love meeting buyers. I like palling around all day with someone and showing them properties.
You build a different rapport with a buyer than a seller. You create the story of the house and it becomes much more about the product versus with the buyer, you're really building that relationship. You see how they react when they walk into the home.
Yeah. I think I told you about the random call I got from a guy in San Francisco that found me via AI and chat, and come to find out he's one of the youngest billionaires in Silicon Valley right now. Yes. And I knew none of this, but he shows up with his parents in tow to tour downtown condominiums. And he was like, I've got to get something under contract before I leave. So I had set up all these downtown condo properties for us to tour on the first day. And by the end of the day, he was like, he didn't like the landscape of downtown Austin.
Yeah.
He saw the market, and, downtown Austin is tricky right now, the condo market. So he pivoted and was like, okay, I want to see properties in Westlake. I want to see Rollingwood. I want to see Tarrytown. So I'm like, okay.
That's
and of
a lot.
course, at those price points, everything is by appointment only. You've got to set everything up. So the next day, I rented a Premier SUV Uber to drive him and his parents and I around all day, because I'm in the back of the SUV, like coordinating. Yeah. All of the showings are not going to be
delayed. We're early.
They're not all going to be clustered together. Like, okay, well, while we're in Westlake, I was able to set up all the Westlake showings. It's like we're ping ponging from Rollingwood to Westlake to Tarrytown, and I'm just in the back of this big SUV, like coordinating with all of the agents. And it was a really fun time. It was a great weekend. His parents were so sweet and kind. Every night I would, at the end of the day of touring, I'm like, hey, I have your restaurant reservations lined up at these 3 places that I did on the side while I'm showing them properties. And they were super appreciative of that. But the one thing that was funny was the mother, she was like, man, there's a lot of personalities in this industry.
She could already tell from touring.
Because we had met so many other agents, and other listing agents, and she was just like, I'm so glad that we're with you all weekend. She's like, this is a lot, these personalities, these people we're meeting. And like, that's the thing about real estate, is like there's somebody for everybody.
So true.
And the personalities and the egos, it's all varied. It's so wide ranging. that, just being your most authentic self and doing, like, I always lean back to hospitality and service industry kind of stuff where I'm like, I'm setting them up with reservations. I picked up that the dad doesn't eat meat, so I'm like, I heard the son and the mom talking about how they wanted barbecue while they were in town. So I got them reservations at Lambert's. I'm like, great barbecue, but there's also a really amazing fish dish on the menu. So like the dad can have fish.
I love that.
It's just all of that. And the mom even texted me when they got back to California. She was like, I don't even know what to do with my day. I'm used to like having you come have us scooped up in an Uber and like provide all of these like recommendations and telling us where to go and what to do. So I think that that's where I shine with buyers, is just making sure that there's like a full experience and it's not just salesy and business, that it's, you're having fun with people, because they are spending so much time with you and just being your authentic self. And
and they remember those details, the little things that you did and how it made them feel. But that's hard to do. I mean, not everyone is built to do all of those details, and you really make clients feel comfortable.
I think too, because I see other agents and colleagues sometimes get really caught up in someone's wealth or their status, and they feel nervous, and like, people are just people. I have done very high-end service and fine dining for, John Mack, who is the CEO of Morgan Stanley for 30 years. Like, he used to come in our restaurant with Coach K from Duke basketball. I mean, he was a real tight ass, but I was unimpressed by him. And I mean, no offense, John Mack, you're a legend, but Vince Vaughn, Steve Buscemi. I sat at dinner across from Russell Crowe one night at the Amalfi Coast for a wedding, and like, I've been around celebrities and fancy rich people, and
they're regular people too.
They're just people. And they just want to be treated normally. And so I don't know, I just don't get hung up on that. Especially with everybody moving to Austin and all the money coming here. It's like, whatever.
What do you think, is going to be the future of downtown real estate? The condos are beautiful. The price points are all over the place, but pretty aggressive price per square foot in comparison to some other cities. And the condo market has been tough for the last couple of years. Like, what's the future of that?
That's a good question. Are more people going to keep moving to Texas? I mean, we built for it. And the movement here kind of slowed down. I think that there needs to be, I'm active in the Central Planning District meetings right now of kind of revitalizing and figuring out like how far right now are they going to expand the high rises in downtown? How are we going to do development responsibly and offer more services to people that do want to live downtown? You know, clinics and different things that most vibrant urban downtown settings have. There's certain things that we're missing in downtown Austin, and so the city right now is going through a planning phase of figuring out where we're expanding the downtown to. But right now, there's a lot of inventory in downtown. A lot of people were buying condos for, second, third homes, and now they're not coming here as much. I think.
Was that COVID that kind of like changed that? Was that really the tipping point of, I remember when I visited Austin for the first time, there was cranes, everything was sold out. There was waiting lists. They couldn't build them fast enough. And then, now we have 15 plus months of inventory, and it's just a very different landscape.
Yeah, condos are tough because they're not unique, right? Like, you can have a condo on the market, but there's 5 to 6 other ones exactly like it, sometimes in the same building. And I think, we did, in my opinion, overbuild downtown, thinking that there was no end in sight to the amount of people moving here.
True.
And I think post-COVID, for me personally, in my sphere of people and clients, there were a lot of folks that moved here from California and from New York, never having experienced our Austin summers. And I've heard people like, "Yep, we're good after 2 summers here in Austin," and pull out of the city. There's other factors in play. politics being one of them, that have people, people want to move here for tax savings.
Yeah.
Some people want to leave here because of politics. It's all over the place.
It really is.
So it's very, I think, dependent on, the person and the client.
But the price points are pretty aggressive, compared for the lack of services and really how people thrive in downtown neighborhoods. It's pretty expensive, which I think also plays into that.
The price point to get into downtown, the prices are coming down, but I think it's also signaling to buyers, at least I've experienced this with buyers looking at downtown condominiums, is this a good investment right now? I think that is like clouding the situation. Everyone sees all of this inventory on the market.
Yeah.
Do I want to spend my money getting into the condo market and this happening to me in a few years?
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to
work through that objection.
Yeah. And that's what happened with the gentleman that came in from San Francisco. He was like, wait, this condo's on the market for 300 and something days. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to happen. From the planning side, I do think that we need higher density in terms of just like building some different price points and diverse types of buildings within the core so that you can still have that walkability, but, just offer different demographics.
Yeah. I mean, when I moved here in 2003, I remember what downtown Austin was like, and walking around downtown Austin at night, like there might be like 3 other people on the street.
Serious?
Well, I have a vivid memory of leaving the Roaring Fork restaurant one night, walking to my car on Congress, and like I was the only one on the street. Wow. It's just like very quiet. And so our downtown has grown a lot. It's gotten very vibrant. I just think we're trying to figure out some more conscientious ways of making it feel more like a community.
Yeah.
When you're in places like New York City, which is not fair to make that comparison.
But even Seattle.
But yeah, you've got your little dry cleaner on the street. You got your shoe cobbler. You've got your little pharmacy. There's these services and these things that you can do, and downtown Austin isn't quite there yet, but I think we're getting there.
Well, how much does the college kind of play into all of that too? Because that's an obvious factor too. You go up to that side where UT is, and then it's a whole different demographic and condo type of living there.
Yes, and so what's been interesting about these city planning commission open houses and meetings and discussions and forums that I've been going to is, UT has been silent for a little bit about some of this, but they now have started speaking up. And from what I understand, trust but verify, they don't want tall buildings dwarfing the UT Tower. So they're kind of pushing back from they have this idea, this vision of what campus should look like and the development happening around campus. And they don't want the UT Tower to suddenly feel like this little, thimble.
Yeah. So just kind of limiting it to mid-rise size buildings around there.
Yeah, staggering it a little bit. And corridors. Obviously UT is a pretty big institution in this city. They're the king, so
they have a lot to say.
They have a lot to say, a lot of pull.
Yeah. And what about just city growth overall? There's so much happening north, south, airport. Where do you think is a good place for someone who is interested in investing here in Austin?
That's a good question. As you know, it's really hard to cash flow properties in Austin.
So
I think people get really shocked by our property taxes and having to explain to them, we're not taxing you on income. So from an investment standpoint, having that discussion with people, a lot of it doesn't look like a smart investment because you can't cash flow it immediately. Now, if you're working with someone who's got long-term objectives and ideas about it, sure. If you're going to hold on to the house for 5 or 10 years, great. A lot like Georgian Estates and north of Hyde Park and Allendale, that area.
Yeah. All of that has changed so much too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, Okay, what is the rest of 2026, in terms of like your goals and, real estate, besides going to the Pacific Northwest for a bit? What do you foresee the rest of the year is going to look like for your business?
Well, I'm hoping that so far for me, my specific business has been a little like up and down, a little bit unpredictable.
I think that's pretty common for all the agents right now.
I would love to just see a little bit of normalcy.
Yeah.
The rest of the year.
Yeah.
I would love for rates to go back down under 6%.
I know. We had it for a minute.
I do think it helped kind of get people off the sidelines. And my conversations right now with buyers are just like, if you would have jumped at that time,
yeah,
but this waiting for like the perfect moment there, that's a very real conversation to be having with buyers right now, given the last like 5 years of the market being from one extreme to the next. It's like you can't just put your life on hold and wait. You need to just get into the market, get something, start paying towards a home that's going to build equity and like stair step your way into
it's not, usually people just don't buy for their forever home anymore. That's just
that's a conversation I'm having too. Like your first home is not going to be perfect. It's not, no home is ever going to be perfect, but specifically for first time buyers, like you're sitting and waiting for this perfect home to appear at the perfect price under the perfect scenario and environment and situation, and it's not going to happen.
Better just get in the market.
Yeah.
True.
So what about you for the rest of 2026?
Oh,
what are your thoughts?
Well, I have the dream job. I just support you guys.
Yeah.
But it has been interesting because I feel like the rates did inspire, buyers to make a move. Whether they made that move and were able to lock their loan and really capitalize on it, I'm not sure. But they, I feel like it did inspire them to, let's not wait anymore. This is a good timing for us. We're seeing a lot of good types of products come on the market. So we should just buy something. I think less people are just hesitating this year, creating kind of the uptick in multiple offers. And again, not specifically in one certain area. As you know, we will see little pockets that kind of show up and being the anomaly to all of the market happening. And I'd say I'm seeing multiple offers from you guys in all of the different pockets within Austin. So that's been interesting.
Yeah. Which is antithetical to like the headlines that you hear about like the market. So
yeah. I think when we had such a boom, that looks like this huge crash, but overall it's really not. And yes, we're still getting appreciation, but it's just much smaller numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that the end of last year and beginning of this year, the ultra luxury was really trading. We saw a lot of really large price points and homes transferring here in Austin. Yeah. And so that will be interesting to see if that continues later on in 2026. But I think it was an inspiring start to the year.
Why do you think the luxury market is doing so well here?
Do you like how she switched this on me?
Yeah.
Who's interviewing who here?
What's your pulse on it?
On what the luxury market will do?
Yeah, why do you think it's, it's a silly question. I think that people with money are unaffected in ways that people without money are. But do you think
they tend to hold. I think that's a misnomer, is that they are watching the economy over a greater area because they do have so many different homes in different areas. And I feel like they are more hyper aware in different ways, whether to move money or hold. But I think they transact for many different reasons than what, the first time home buyer is going to do, right? They can hold if they need to, if the market's down. Moving money into different markets, sometimes makes sense depending on tax reasons.
Yeah, I think the tax benefits for people with wealth coming here and investing in Austin is a huge pull.
But what's interesting is that the tech companies still come, but it seems like the size of the tech companies are changing. There tend to be smaller tech companies where, when Oracle came here and that was huge. And then for them to kind of pull out of our market as quick as they did, I think that kind of sent up some red flags and questions. And, I think Austin is unique. I think people don't expect the price point. They're very surprised of what you will pay for a lake home here is similar to what you'll pay for a home in California. And
Yeah.
so that's pretty startling to people when they think they're kind of getting away from that mansion tax to then come here and have these property taxes as high as they are.
Yeah. When I get on Zillow or Redfin and I start looking at other markets, I'm like, wow, this is where my money will go. Like in Seattle. Or
Yeah. It's crazy.
But then you have to deal with the weather.
Weather and tax.
Yeah. And the tax.
Yes. I mean, we won't even get into the politics of Portland and their homeless tax. And
Yeah.
yes. So notice downtown they have like taken away some of the lanes and they're doing this whole like bike lane thing, which is so Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think, and I've noticed this since living here since 2003. I mean, Texas is an oil state. This is a car state. They want you at the gas pumps, buying your petroleum, and it's a car state. I mean, I lived in downtown condos in Austin for, well over a decade, and I just remember like parking my little Mini Cooper, which seemed appropriate, in my little downtown condo garage next to a huge Humvee. And I'm like, why are you living in downtown Austin with a Hummer? Like, do you need a military vehicle to drive around living in downtown Austin? And I think that that's the difference about a Texan's mind, a mindset of a walkable, bikeable, urban setting versus other states and cities where there are bike lanes and pedestrians are out walking and there's a subway and mass transit is so much easier, and we don't have that here. So I
mean,
think
it's 100+ degrees with 100% humidity. I do wonder how many people are going to be biking during that time. Again, I'm the Oregonian, so if it's over 90, I'm like, woo, we can't go out.
There was a TED Talk that I went, TED came to Circuit of the Americas, and they did a,
really?
This was years ago. And these guys got up and they did this presentation for mass transit in Austin. Their model was this very popular mountain in Switzerland or somewhere, and how the gondolas move, 100,000 people around on this mountain every day. And they had this whole pitch for doing a gondola style, like mass transit, like from the airport to downtown with these stations that you get into, your own little private. I mean, you can choose to, for safety reasons, if you're a female, you can choose to ride with someone else or not, or just be in the gondola by yourself. But they did this whole pitch on how many people you could move throughout the city, to different parts of the city with a gondola.
Interesting.
It was really fascinating. And
considering we don't have the hills to like attach them to, or
you would build like they were saying, you would like have them on top of certain buildings downtown, and they'd go all the way out to the airport and across the river, and it could move people, and it seemed like a brilliant idea. But I don't know why.
And then Elon said, actually, we're going underground. We're going to do tunnels.
I mean, at the end, it's still, you could pull it up on YouTube. It's a fascinating concept and presentation. I mean, everybody jumped up and stood up and clapped at the end of it. And it's like, I think that's what we need, to think outside the box. They're air conditioned.
That's what we need. Speaking of CODA, though, what do you think of those like condo CODA track units? Have you seen those?
I haven't been invited to tour one yet.
No?
Do you have access?
Yes.
Do you know some people?
We can go. They're building that whole like luxury experience where you'll have these like beautiful condos to park your cars. And I get it, except for that it's so far. And without a gondola, I don't know how I'm going to get there.
If we're not going to gondola in the AC to get there, how are we getting there, right? I mean, I now have a Formula One fan for a husband. He's been watching those.
Wait, who's Jed's team?
I don't know that he has a team. Okay. He's just like way into the Formula One series, which is so odd. Like I come home and he's like, leave me alone. It's like my Housewives. I'm like, okay, whatever. But he knows like every little detail and aspect of Formula. He finds it so fascinating. So now I guess we're going to be going to Formula One races and getting into it. It is pretty impressive.
I love this. Yes, I love it. Okay. I'm with Jed on this one.
I'd love to go in on a condo with you.
Okay, let's do it. I'm into it, especially like there is the whole idea that they will move those Formula One cars to be electric, and then how fast they will go and all of that. But it's interesting because I think Audi's in it this year, and did Porsche? Cadillac.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Brad Pitt will buy one.
I think he's into it now after doing the movie, right? No, but I love Formula One.
What's the price point on
those condos? I think they were like 1.5 to maybe 2 something, depending on size, HOAs. And then, it had like a swimming pool kind of community area. But I think there's been a couple of different concepts, but the one that's actually attached to the Coda track was very cool.
What's the soundproofing like inside the condo?
I don't know. But I think you're there for the noise.
Oh, you don't want to sleep.
You just want to have racks that you can like put your racing tires on so that you can just like change them out real quick, and then you just drive your car onto the track.
Yeah. So I obviously have been in Austin for a long time, but the very first year that Formula One was here, my husband and I and his colleague Dale, we were playing this game like Formula One superfan or James Bond supervillain. Because like everyone that showed up in Austin for the first Formula One race, it was like, the sleeveless puffer jackets and the Ferrari hats, and they were flying around on helicopters, and they looked like James Bond supervillains, or maybe they were just a Formula One superfan. I don't know. Yeah. You choose.
I don't know. People are diehard crazy.
Yes.
But I will say it was cool when Austin was the only city to have that in the States.
For
I
sure.
feel like it just had such a draw. And now it's been a bit diluted now that it's
Vegas.
in Miami and Vegas. Yeah. So,
I do.
Oh, yeah. You're going to get the bug now after you go.
I know. I feel like I should start the series because I can get up on everything.
Absolutely. And then you get to know more about like each of the drivers. And I mean, it's fast. And of course, Kim Kardashian is now dating Lewis Hamilton. So that's the whole... Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. He was not in the first couple of series, right? Like
I think he was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like long time.
No, I know, but in the documentary, the series,
yeah,
like
he
the
is.
first few seasons, he's not mentioned, and then like he's brought on.
Oh,
'cause
really?
I kept asking Jed, I'm like, where's
Lewis?
Yeah.
I think they kind of change like which cars they're focusing on different episodes, but yeah, he was for sure there because then him and Verstappen, who does Red Bull, they had like a whole war. Yeah. Anyways, yes, I'll let you catch up, and then we'll have wine and discuss.
We should have happy hour and talk Formula One.
I know,
like real dudes.
Jet will be so proud. I love it. Okay, so you are doing a great job with Preservation Austin. All of your Austin home stuff recently. I love that article that you did.
Thank you.
Yes, and which was in your home too.
Yeah.
Did you talk about the birds?
It's so funny because the last thing I did for the tour on Saturday was I was out in my backyard filling up all the bird feeders.
Did you have the app open and you're like, let me show you which birds are out here?
Like everyone that came through was commenting so much on our little back terrace.
Yeah,
like
it's amazing.
Right now, all of my Japanese maples are in bloom. I had so many landscape architects like come through and they're like, who did this? I was like, me. And they're like, it's so beautiful. I'm like, it's beautiful right now. By September, all the Japanese maples are all like crunchy, curly leaves and gasping for thirst. But yes, I had the bird feeders out. All the little birds were coming. All the birders that came through the house were like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, to have that in the city. I mean, how tall are those windows?
16 feet.
They're amazing. And then the trees, it's just like a private little oasis back there that you would never know.
Yeah, you don't even feel like you're in West Campus.
Yeah.
So the Austin Home article, Karen, the editor of Austin Home, reached out to us and like I always do, I did more. She was like, I want to do a little feature on your home. And I was like, let's do more. Let's broaden the aperture and tell the whole story of the relationship between my home and the Thomas Cranfill home, which is 2 doors down. And she fell in love with the story. And she wrote that really beautiful article about the history of Thomas Cranfill, who was a professor at UT, and his life partner, Hans Beecham, who my home was designed for, who's a photographer, and she did such a great job. But, I wanted to tell the story about my neighbor Andrew's house because it's so special, and he did such an incredible restoration on it. And it's hopefully going to be on the Preservation Austin tour next year. I'm angling for that.
Nice.
It's such a wow home. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that whole street, that little pocket is truly unique to Austin.
I know,
and
it's worth saving.
It is.
Yeah.
Why? What do you mean? Are they not going to save it?
Well, obviously there's like zoning restrictions and things already
Yeah.
in place. But the University Neighborhood Overlay, UNO, as it's known as, they're trying to push the allowable development heights to 300 feet. So buildings that are 300 feet can be built, in our
Wow.
little pocket of West Campus. So
Oh, yeah, that would change the
imagine those
vibe.
16 feet of glass in my back windows
Oh,
and like looking across the ravine at a 300-foot building right there. So
not great.
yeah.
Okay, did that get shut down? Where's that at?
It is still, UT has gotten involved now. So from what I understand,
Okay.
yeah, trust but verify all of this information. But I am trying to get the historic district designation on our street to hopefully add another layer of protection of kind of keeping,
Yeah.
you don't want all of Austin completely erased. And there are a
No.
lot of people in this city that, are like Will Bridges and the way that he's working to preserve, like Cisco's and Deep Eddy Cabaret and just some of these things that are so uniquely Austin that are starting to just go away in these pockets of Austin, and historical like architecture and things that are really part of the interesting historical fabric of this city, and moneyed interest and momentum is happening, and those things can just get washed away overnight if we're not cognizant about protecting them.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you're involved in that. And it is important because there is there's a nervousness when a buyer goes into an old home. I've noticed here in Austin, they're like, oh, it's old and, it's a tear down. And you lose so much of that character when everything starts to look the same and new. And, those homes are nice as well. But there needs to be a place held for these historic properties that are saved.
I was reading an interesting article yesterday, which was an aspect I had not ever considered, but they were saying from an environmental aspect, like the health of your home, that newer construction that is built where the homes are like airtight are not as healthy for you unless you're working with, say like Jared Gossett is really into the biophilic designs of homes and like non-toxic materials and making sure that your home is healthy. Shout out to Gossett and Co.
Yeah,
but,
he does a great job on the wellness side.
Like these newer construction homes that are sealed tight, they're actually can be hazardous to your health. They're saying that older homes, obviously like lead-based paints and stuff like that, you want to check for. But because older homes aren't airtight, they breathe, and they're actually healthier to live in. And so that's a new angle and pitch for me now when I
love it.
showing
We'll look
people
for that in your marketing.
older home. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, you're such a wealth of knowledge, and I think that any client that gets to work with you is a true blessing. You take good care of people. You have such a nice heart, as well as all of the knowledge you have. So
That's very kind.
I'm excited to see what you do for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Kelly.
Yay!